Let's get this started. I'm gonna hit resume recording. You're all set.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited to be here today as we jump Giving Tuesday off with a bang today. My name is Clifford L. Marshall II, and I'm director of the Male Empowerment Network. But I am actually one of three heads of the Male Empowerment Network. So the first head, of course, is our visionary, person who created this program some 17 years ago in 2003, and that's my friend, my pal, the dean, Dr. Bernard Gant. He was the visionary of this program. And then the second head of the program is the idea guy, the guy who comes up with all the different ideas over 17 years. And that's my friend, my pal, Director of Collaborative Education, Mr. Eugene Adams. And I'm just the face. They just say, hey, you should be the face. So it's great to have those two guys as partners. And I just want to thank them for being here as partners. I want to thank the president of the college, Dr. Thomas Secondary, for always being there to support the program. And of course, our vice president of student success, Irene Delgado, who came into this not knowing anything about this program because she was a CUNY, but she has supported us from the very beginning. Irene Delgado. Also want to thank the assistant vice president, Angela Wambagu Cobb, and her partner, Robert Whalen. And they come from development and alumni relations, and they have allowed us, the Male Empowerment Network, to be the very first program on campus to actually do a kickoff for Giving Tuesday. So that's just fantastic. I want to thank those two. And then last but not least, we want to thank Mrs. Diallo. She could have chosen any program at BCC to kick off with, but she chose the Male Empowerment Network. And we've been working with her on and off for many years. And I just want to thank her for allowing us to kind of co-sponsor this program. So we are co-sponsoring it with Unity and Strength, Black Faculty and Staff Association, the Social Justice Network, and the African Association Club. So we are one of those four who are sponsoring this great event. So I want to thank you, Mr. Diallo, for allowing us to do this with you. Okay, so since I got all the protocols out the way, now let's get excited. It's great. I just want to say two quotes to you. First quote is from Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah's quote is, "To move forward, you have to give back. To move forward, you have to give back." And the second quote is from Booker T. Washington, who says, "Those who are happiest are those who do the most for others." Those who are happiest are those who do the most for others. And this is what Giving Tuesday is all about. It's all about us reaching down in our wallets and giving back because our students really need this. And that's one of the reasons why Mrs. Diallo wanted to do this. Tiffany did already say a few things about the protocols and the rules. We want everyone to remain muted. We want all those who have questions after Mrs. Diallo speaks to please send that to myself or Tiffany, and we will then give those questions to her during the question and answer period. So the lineup today is we're going to hear from our president, we'll hear from the assistant vice president, and we'll hear from the chair of the Social Justice Network. We'll hear from the president of Unity and Strength, and then we have two students who we'll hear from. And all of them will speak really briefly, a minute to 2 minutes, just to kind of give their welcome and what Giving Tuesday means to them. Then we'll have Mrs. Diallo do her keynote address, and then we'll have questions and answers. Okay, so I think everybody, I think we have a lineup. So without any further ado, I want to introduce the president of Bronx Community College, Dr. Thomas Secondary.
Clifford Marshall, I want to say thank you for your starting us off and for your pre-introductions and everything. And I like your two quotes, by the way. I want to say thank you. I'm always very happy to see all of the faces, and just looking at the Zoom and looking at all the collages here, you all have made my day. I want to say thank you to all of you for logging in and for zooming on with us this afternoon. This is a really special day. Today is Giving Tuesday, and you live life by giving. So I think that's very, very, very important. And so before I say anything, I'm going to challenge. We have 44 participants from what I can see online. If we all give $1 each, that's $44. If we all give $10 each, that's 4,000. I mean 450 or something like that. I'm trying to do my math here. You can tell I got a C in math. So happy Giving Tuesday. And I think we're really kicking off this note on the right note with a special event. I'm going to talk about our keynote speaker later. But before I even go further, in as much as I'm excited to see all of you here online this afternoon, please make sure you give at the end of the day, because that's the whole essence of it. You live life by giving, and what you get out of life is what you give into life too. So please give. You know, usually this is an international recognized day for charity support and to help others. Usually at this time, it's noon, we'll be at Roscoe Brown. I remember Angela at the entrance of Roscoe Brown will all be there cajoling and asking people to give, asking all of the students to give. Although we're not doing that this year, but one of the things that I do know that the needs remain the same. I think the needs even have been multiplied or amplified this year even. As students always have challenges, but I think the challenges this year even again be amplified. So that's one of the more reasons why we're reaching out to more people this year to actually give. Students need housing, dealing with housing issues, dealing with emergency issues. I know you all had big breakfast this morning. There are some of our students that can even afford the breakfast this morning. We still have our food pantry open. So I'm going to ask you, I'm not going to ask you to do something that I won't do. I did already. So I'm going to ask you all of us to join us in making sure we give this year. And you know, thanks to people like Mrs. Diallo, we have special challenge grants this year. Any cent, any penny you give, people like her will double it. We have corporations and people that have lined up. So that's even more incentive why you need to give this year. Again, I'm challenging all 48 of you here. I see the numbers going up to give something. Nothing is too small. And remember, the Lord loves a cheerful giver. So I'm going to ask you on that note to give. To our keynote speaker, Mrs. Diallo, I want to say thank you for coming to grace this occasion for us. I've known you for 6 years, and any day I see you, you make me feel lively. Why I say this? Because we all have tragedy that happens to us in our different life and different things. Some people will take the tragedy, go away quietly, but some people will take that tragedy to help make the world a better place. And when I see you, you remind me of an individual that has taken something bad, but you've made a good out of it. I want to thank you for all of your support for Bronx Community College. On behalf of our students, I can't say thank you enough to you, because you are a real role model to all of us to show on how you can make the world, and how we can make the world a better place. I can't wait to listen to your speech this afternoon. And I want to thank you for being one of our challenge supporters that will actually double whatever we give your foundation to double what we're giving this afternoon. On behalf of all of our students that will benefit from today's giving, I just want to say from my heart to you to say thank you very, very, very much. People like you make the world on a daily basis a better place. Again, thank you. And to all of you here, I think we need to just give a virtual hand and to say thank you to her. And we appreciate all that you do for us on a daily basis. Thank you very, very, very much. Clifford, can I pass it back on to you?
Yes. And thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That was a great welcome. So the next one who's going to speak very briefly is our Assistant Vice President, who actually helped bring this all together. Angela?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay. So just on the heels of what President Sekenegbe stated, we want to thank Mrs. Diallo, who's been a very good friend and partner of the college for many years now. Through the Bronx Community College Foundation, her organization, the Amadou Diallo Foundation, has been giving scholarship support to our students for many years now. In particular, our international students, especially those that are of African descent that are coming to the college with little or no financial support. But this year, she approached us through the Male Empowerment Network and said that she wanted to help our students in a broader way. She understood by speaking to them that they were really drastically impacted by the COVID crisis. And so this year, she wanted to not just give her own gift for scholarships, but to expand that support so that it could assist students who are also experiencing other hardship, whether it's homelessness or food insecurity. As you know, we have a food pantry on our campus that has been really picking up in terms of need. Our students have had a great need even before the pandemic, and now it's even greater. So there are a number of areas that our students are desperately in need of following this pandemic, following the economic crisis, and also, of course, the stress that has also come from the most recent social justice movement that's been going on, which Mrs. Diallo will talk about. But what she shared and what she will be sharing is that she will be, through her foundation, matching up to $5,000 today on Giving Tuesday, any of the gifts that we raise beginning now. So I will be putting in our chat box in a moment a link for any of us to give. If you haven't given already, now would be the time, because her foundation is going to be doubling that gift. So right now I'm going to turn it back over to you, Cliff. And then if there's any information or questions you all have about the campaign later on, I'll be here to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Fantastic job. So the next person we'll hear from really, really briefly is the chair of the Social Justice Network. And let me tell you, she's becoming a rising star because she's also behind the scenes here with this particular event. Mrs. Tiffany Dubon, and that I know the last name, so she'll tell you what that is. Tiffany?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Tiffany Dubon Yard. I am a student life specialist in civic engagement for the Office of Student Life at BCC. I am also the co-lead of the Social Justice Network. The idea came to me and my work colleagues the days after the George Floyd protests, where we felt that we needed to come together as a BCC community and empower, uplift, and educate ourselves on social justice issues. This was the time to get civically engaged and involved. So I, along with Shamika Pierce from the Office of Student Life, decided to make a wide call to our network in BCC and collaborate our work and create a space in which we can develop new ideas for programming. This space is called the Social Justice Network. Some of our events include, but are not limited to, Constitution Day, Constitution and Citizenship Day, Let Dreamers Dream, National Voter Registration Day, Reproductive Justice and the Forced Sterilization of Women of Color in the U.S., When the X in Latinx is a Crossroad with Peggy Robles, Pelo Bueno versus Pelo Malo, which is good hair versus bad hair, Re-Entry, Removing the Stigma of Incarceration, and Black Lives Matter, Do They Matter to You with the SGA. The Social Justice Network is comprised of over 23 BCC faculty, staff, and administrators. We meet bi-weekly throughout the semester on Mondays from 4 to 5 p.m. We collaborate with several departments across the campus, including but not limited to the Male Empowerment Network, Women Up, ASAP's Women's Empowerment Committee, Social Justice Action Committee, College Discovery, ASAP, the History Department, Social Sciences Department, and the Criminal Justice Department, as well as the SGA, and so many more. So I did not want to take up too much time listing all that we do, but we are here for you, the student body, and we hope that every event and workshop we sponsor or co-sponsor is something meaningful or worthwhile to you. Please, if you have any questions, suggestions, or comments regarding anything that I've mentioned or what we do, feel free to email me at tiffany.dubon@bcc.cuny.edu. Thank you for your time, and we hope today's event is meaningful enough for those of you who can donate to please give towards these scholarships and for our students. Thank you.
Fantastic, Tiffany. Is she an up-and-coming star or what? Yes, she is. Great job, Tiffany. So the next person we're going to hear from is my partner for close to 20 years here at BCC, and who has helped the Male Empowerment Network. He is the president of Unity and Strength Black Faculty and Staff Association, and also the faculty advisor for the African Association, the African Students Association. Mr. Gene Adams. Gene?
Yeah, real quick. Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone. I'm sitting here realizing that at one point or another, I have wormed my way into everybody's office almost, some type of a project, some type of a partnership. And that's really a wonderful thing to know that I've had that type of cooperation and that type of engagement with so many of my colleagues. That's really inspiring. Back almost 20 years, my first person I met was Susanna. But even before Susanna, I had the honor of knowing Eddie Bayardell on Long Island, trying to do an educational initiative. So I'm just honored to be a part of this group. Mrs. Diallo is my sister. She is a lot of your sisters. We know about the Amadou Diallo Scholarship because she's been doing it here at BCC. But some of us don't know that she's also done that scholarship at Beryl Manhattan Community College, and now it exists at Gutman Community College. So her work has went so far beyond her own tragedy in terms of the lives that she has impacted upon throughout the country, of course, but here in the Bronx most specifically. In addition to her work with the foundation in regards to the scholarship, she's also been a keynote speaker on our campus numerous times, speaking largely around, we have our African Women's Empowerment Day every year, and she's always here engaging students. And then with Michelle and Mika and through the STEP program and the trio pre-collegiate programs, Mrs. Diallo is a part of our annual Amadou Diallo, we call it now our Arts and Sci-Tech commemoration, where we bring a couple hundred of middle school and high school students together every year to look at Amadou, not so much from his tragedy, but from what his promise was. His interest in education, his interest in technology and hip hop music, and a lot of the things that our young people are into. But we use him as a model because of the dedication that he put forward in coming to the United States and saving almost $10,000 for his own education throughout CUNY. I go on for days, but I just want to say that in addition to her work officially, many of our students have her number personally. They call, she gives advice, she gives wisdom and mentorship. She is a true part of the BCC community. And those of you who saw the last Netflix production on was called Trial by Media, the segment they shot about Amadou Diallo, a part of that segment was shot at BCC. So she is true BCC family. And I'm just honored to have her here and to be a part of this and to see all my colleagues and my friends here supporting her. Thank you.
All right, Gene, great job. Once again, fantastic job. So before we bring on Mrs. Diallo, we definitely want her to hear from a couple of students that we have here. And we just want to acknowledge, once again, Vice President Irene Delgado, who oversees development, and along with her right hand, I should say, Dr. Manny Lopez, who Jean, myself, and Bernard have watched grow on this campus. I want to thank both of them for a great job. And the two students actually are a part of that whole student development team. First young man we're going to bring up is Carmelo Jones. So Carmelo, we just want you to say a few words, really short and to the point about your experience here at BCC and all the things that has happened for you while you've been here at Bronx Community College. Carmelo?
Good afternoon, all. The Honorable late President Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "We have always held to the hope, the belief, and the conviction that there is a better life, a better world beyond the horizon." Hello to all distinguished guests, Bronx Community President, faculty, staff, and the Honorable Ms. Diallo. To many like myself, there are words that are hard to reflect on the unprecedented times which we have experienced such loss and anguish. Many know there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We will overcome this is as we have overcome so much as we are strong in ways many are not. While I've attended Bronx Community College, I've experienced such gratitude and much support as a student from the staff and fellow students that I've experienced ever before. The Male Empowerment Network and the Phi Theta Kappa honor society have been those two reflections that I can say have empowered me to continue my education in a better and to help all those around us. And with that, I've seen so much growth with students in the school as well. And continuing that, I've admired Mrs. Diallo for her ambition and continuation of the success that she has given, and very fortunate to have so many students who have received the scholarship. And I will be here to help in any way I can, also donating, of course.
Thank you,
And
Carmelo.
I thank you guys for the opportunity.
Thank you, Carmelo. That's fantastic. And the last student we're going to hear from is from the African Association Club, and his name is Stephen Wafi. Stephen?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay. Before first and foremost, I thank all our leaders online. Not forgetting Mrs. Diallo. We appreciate everything that you've done for us as a African Student Organization and the entire Bros Community College. I really appreciate our leaders online, both for who are not here and who have been supporting us directly and indirectly. We really appreciate it, and we want to say that we miss you all. If we stand a chance to see you guys back again, before this Corona goes, so we'll be glad to see you back. We thank you for everything that you've been doing for us. We as students, especially with myself as an example, have come a long way with the help of this charitable giving and all this subsidies that we're receiving from scholarship from great people. For instance, Mrs. Diallo, that's come a long way for us. It has been able to help us to maintain our school academics by helping us, do part-time job and also perform excellence in our classes as we receive these scholarships from individuals. It has come a long way for us now, even that Corona has really, really hit hard. Some of us are jumping from pantries to pantry to make food because we cannot do our part-time job no more. The fact that, jobs have closed down, especially like those of us who works in the hotel field, most of these hotels are closed down, so that's really, really impact us. But this small subsidy that we're getting, or huge amount that we're getting from people who are giving, especially like all of us online right now, has come a long way for us, and it is keeping us, to focus on our education, to become better students, so that when we come out from school, we can also be better leaders to help the entire nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so without any further ado, the person that you came online to hear from, I've worked on and off with this lady for I think over 10 years. She's done some incredible work, and we all know her, and we all love her. So without any further ado, this is Kadiatou Diallo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Clifford, for coordinating this wonderful special event. I want to first and foremost thank the presidents, Seknabe and Angela and Jane Adam and all the faculty, staff members, and all the students and community members who are connected to this discussion today. My name is Kadiatou Diallo. I'm the mother of Amadou Diallo. I'm also the founder of and president of the Amadou Diallo Foundation. I crossed the ocean in February 4th, 1999, right after my son was gone down in New York City. He lived in the Bronx. He worked many jobs, and he was saving money for college. Before Amadou crossed the ocean to come, he already lived in many different countries in Africa, Togo, Liberia, where he was born, Togo, and we also moved to Asia. So he was my world traveler. He was an international world traveler to me and aspiring for higher education, and he loved America. I will never forget the last time I speak to my son, Amadou Diallo. And he said to me, Mom, I'm so happy right now. I have saved enough money for college and I'm going to enroll. I was very proud. That phrase stayed with me and will be staying with me forever for the rest of my life. In every tragedy, there is a setback, there is a heartache. Like you all mentioned, I want to start this talk from the George Floyd outrage when he was killed. Whenever there's a tragedy, people relate to me, people remember me because they know how I was devastated when I came at the Bronx and saw where my son lived and I was crying his name. George Floyd cried for his mother. When he cried for his mother, all the mothers were summoned, all Black mothers, in fact. And each time these tragedies happen, I will reach to my son's spirit and gathered all my strength. And I would ask myself, how can we meet this moment? Because all tragedies are connected. This is why the Association of the Student, Black student, African students, you need to be involved in this cause. Today, the awareness that we started since 1999 is still ringing through big because the Black Lives Matter has been now in the forefront. People know about Black Lives Matter, but before Black Lives Matter, before Twitter, before Instagram, before all the social media, we started our struggle. We started collectively to say, hey, this was wrong and we need to do something to change this. So my son's vision and his promise, like Jane Addams said, inspired me to create the Amadou Diallo Foundation. I knew in my heart that my life has changed and will never be the same. When the foundation was created, I met with the president then, and the president then, I believe, was it Carolyn Williams? I met with her and she introduced me with Jean Adam. Since then, Jean and I have developed a relationship that is lasting. And he is actually the bridge from the Amadou Diallo Foundation to BCC. So we said we need to do something for those insignificant students who are coming to BCC who are faceless, someone will not even know who they are. They are struggling, like Amadou used to struggle, going to do many jobs in order to pay their own way, in order to help their family back home. Amadou was not helping me back home, but of course, many students have to do it because sometimes their family have to sell their land or sell their cars or do everything to buy them airline ticket to come and further their education. So the hardship and struggle of international students is really what inspired us to come to BCC and said, at this pandemic moment, this COVID-19 moment, how can we help? How can we support those students who are struggling, who are facing hardship today? And the idea came and we talked. Then Clifford and Angela and Jean Adam and I, we said, hey, this is a moment where people, even though it's hard, can open up their hearts and give. It's the moment of giving. It's the moment of caring. Giving is caring. So every little bit helps. We can only do our part, but collectively, if each one of us do our parts, we can move mountains. The Amadou Diallo Foundation mission is to advocate to combat racial inequities, advocate education for students of African descent. We all have a common cause that unites us. And the Amadou Diallo Scholarship exists at Gutman College. And when we started the scholarship was at BCC and Borough of Manhattan Community College, but I will never forget the BCC because this is our place This is where my son lived and died. This is where he wanted to go to school. And this is where I find people who may look like him, or young people who have the same dream. Amadou was denied this dream by the way he was killed. But if we help one student at a time, step by step, I can heal. I can move on and say, at least my son didn't die in vain. That is why I carry the mission. That is why I'm so blessed to be embraced by BCC, the president, both past president and present president, and the faculty and staff, to make sure in a little bit, in a small way, Amadou will never be forgotten at BCC. How can we make it possible? Is by supporting the students in Amadou's memory and Amadou's name. So again, even though we have given the gift, we want people to relate to the story and listen to the messages that we all heard today and connect to the core values of why we have to support the students. Those students are our future. Those students have, when they leave Africa, they leave their families behind, they leave their community behind. Many people are cheering for their success. Many people are waiting to hear back what inspired them, what obstacle they faced, who supported them, who uplifted their hearts, who helped them to realize their dream. Amadou Diallo Foundation want to be the name that they will be putting on their list. So again, this is why I'm here, and I can't wait to hear the interaction. I would love for this to be not just a speech, keynote speaking, but conversation that we all going to have. People will open up and talk. And lastly, I want to say, since 1999, I have been marching, protesting, but overall, the Amadou Diallo Scholarship and programs, including the youth commemoration that we do every year since we started almost 10 years ago now with Jean Adam and other institutions, have helped me to heal. My journey is a long journey. My healing is not coming easily because it's still happening. We need to work hard and talk about this issue and educate ourselves, keep on raising awareness through education so we can stop this agony that we as parents throughout the nation globally are going through, because every year you cannot even begin to count the names of those are falling of no fault on their own. It is wrong, and we have to make sure that we are involved in this issue. I will yield back to Clifford and welcome for any questions and comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Diallo. That's fantastic. Before you stop speaking, can you, because I've heard you speak about this before. Can you just remind us the personality of Amadou and all the things he had accomplished and what he wanted to do when he came to America?
Thank you so much. That is one of my favorite things to do, which is to talk about my son's life and his personality. Amadou early on grew up loving everything about reading. He started reading newspaper. He was not even 7 years old. And he was passionate about reading everything, every subject. And I remember when his father asked him one time, Amadou, what you want to become when you grow up? He said, I want to be a teacher. And his father, being a big businessman, a wealthy businessman, said, come on, how can you say that? And Amadou said, why? He said, because teachers don't make a lot of money. Don't you want to become a millionaire when you grow up? He said, I want to be a teacher. And he loved food. Food is one of his best things because everything, anytime he see food, you'll see his big smile. He loved to eat and he loved music, hip hop, dancing. Early on, he started dancing to the tune of Michael Jackson and MC Hammer. I have even home video where he's imitating and trying to break dance, and he loved sports. The three things that my son really loved: sports, education, and religion. He was an avid Muslim, practicing the religion early on. Even living in New York City without his parents around, he was disciplined. He would pray 5 times a day. Even when he missed a prayer, he would pray that prayer back in the evening before going to bed. And sports, basketball was his passion. Music was also something he enjoyed. He was a rounded child, and he was very quiet, doesn't speak a lot, but a very, very good listener. He can be in a room where everyone talking, he will speak little, but at the end of the day, he would tell you, but he will speak, retell everything that people were saying around him. A very good listener. He also spoke many languages, including French, our official language in Guinea, English, and Thai, because we lived in Thailand. He also took a Spanish course. He speaks Spanish and our native tongue. So he spoke 5 languages. In fact, when he traveled to come to New York, it was not necessary. He said not necessary to come and pick him up from the airport, because being well-traveled around the world, he knows how to travel. So he said to his distant cousin who were living in the Bronx, saying, just give me the address, I'll come. I'll catch a taxi and come and join you. He was a very shy young man, but very, very smart, very smart.
Okay, and then before we start asking the questions from the individuals listening, I just wanted you to speak one more. I want you to speak on the commemoration event that Gene puts on at BCC, because I know that every year you're always overwhelmed when you see all the young kids at this event. How do you feel when you come here every year and you see all the kids that we bring out?
I feel alive by seeing all the young kids celebrating Amadou's life and honoring Amadou's life through the STEM, through hip hop, through graphic design. And this is one of my favorite events of all, because Amadou died, he was killed in 1999, but he was just 23 years old. So he would be forever young. Young people will keep celebrating him and connecting to him, because being taken away from this earth very young. And I remember one time I told the student at one of these youth commemoration at BCC, I said, you need to do research on Amadou. And I was surprised. The students, they know. Each one started, raising their hand and saying, I know where he was born. I know he loved to read. I know he loved hip hop music and everything else. I was surprised. And really, this is a blessing, because that gave me the sense of not, grieving, but healing, and also celebrating Amadou with young people, the future generation. And like the Jane Adam mentioned of the Netflix piece, some of those young students were part of the Netflix documentary film. And when I heard back from Jane, some of the students said, now we are feeling like we are celebrities. We need like sunglasses and we need escort and everything. It's funny. I'm planning to do a reunion with them. I'm sure we are going to do the next youth commemoration on the coming February 4th, like we always do traditionally. And I mean, it's a blessing because had not been this initiative and this mission, I don't know where I would be today. When you lose a child and unjustly, there is no way to hide. Even if I decided since early on to go back home and just not to do anything, I would be sad because my son was not old enough to get married, never left me with a child so I can look up and see this is my grandchild. There was nothing. This is the mission that kept me alive, that kept me, helped me to keep going.
Yeah, yeah. It's fantastic. So folks out there, we have put the link in the chat so you can go there and you can definitely start giving towards this great, great cause. We have someone here whose son loved the Bronx, loved Bronx Community College, and she says she wants to help out as much as possible. So whatever we give, remember, she will match up to $5,000. So that's fantastic. Okay, so if you have any questions out there, please put that in the chat to Tiffany or myself, and we will definitely ask her these questions. Okay, so the first, I have a comment, Mrs. Diallo, and it's from Professor Gadsden. And Professor Gadsden is one of our criminal justice professors and one of our outstanding social justice individuals. And he just wrote that he agreed with everyone on the great program and the works that is going on at BCC. It is indeed an honor to be in the midst of one who lost so much, but yet managed to turn her tragedy around and try to make this world a better place. Thanks to Mr. Adams for working to bring her to BCC. We are in the midst of greatness. So that's the respect that Professor Gadsden wanted to give to you, Mrs. Diallo. We have a question here from Ms. Cobb, who says, do you believe that the incoming Biden-Harris administration will produce a change in perspectives about policing? What are you hopeful that will do?
Thank you. That is a great question. I lived through my tragedy. I remember going to Washington, D.C. during the Clinton administration. I remember we went with many elected officials and civil rights leaders to DC at the Justice Department to ask Janet Reno to do something about my son's case. Remember, Amadou was killed in the Bronx, and the 4 white officers who killed Amadou, the trial is supposed to be held in the Bronx, but unfortunately the trial was moved to Albany, about 150 miles away. In this cold winter time, we went there and we attended the trial, which was a guarantee acquittal of those officers for the charges. So the officers were exonerated. After that, we said we wanted to see if the Justice Department can review the case and bring charges on a federal level for violating Amadou's civil rights. But we were denied by the Clinton administration because they simply said that they felt that the case, they cannot indict those officers beyond the reasonable doubt for civil rights violation charges against them. Anyway, fast forward. I know many cases after that, after Amadou, that happened in any government, like the Bush administration, the Obama administration. Obama being a Black president didn't help. I think with the Biden upcoming administration, all we can do is to keep holding them accountable, because if I don't trust any politician, they will tell you whatever they want, because they will be, they really, they will promise. But the way government works, I learned when I came here, I didn't know, but it's so difficult, it's complicated. So all of you students, you need first of all to know who represent you on a lower level. It has to be from the ground up. You need to know every elected officials in your community. Building community is the answer. And then from the ground up, you build up and until you get to a higher level. If they don't have your best interest, your cause will not be debated during the Biden administration, because I know all these things we are talking right now, after the George Floyd, after the Breonna Taylor case and Ahmaud Arbery and every cases, is the same repetition that we have been talking when my son was killed. Nothing is new. They don't reinvent anything. They just keep on saying, this time we need to change the laws. This time we need to train the officers. This time we need to ask for more, to hire more minority cops. This time, bam, 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 is a repetition on my ears. So do not think just because we are having Biden, the White House versus the president, the current president, is going to bring any change if we don't hold them accountable. That's my answer.
Fantastic. So we got a few comments. Professor Gloria Rodriguez, who is in charge of our Woman Up Center at BCC, first ever we've ever had, and she created this. She just wanted to say, thank you for your powerful work and your generosity. Let's see, we also had another comment. From Dr. Manny Lopez. He said also, thank you for sharing your strength with us. And then we had a question from Margaret Nelson, who is the Director of Financial Aid. And her question is, I guess you got to dig deep for this. How is it with your soul?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Within my soul, what sustains me is my faith. Without my faith, I do not know where I would be. Is really understanding every day is a progress. Every day is a struggle, but also is a progress. So sometimes we have despair. You cannot say you will be on like just positive. Sometimes we do cry. Sometimes we grieve. Sometimes we have setbacks. But above all, if you take account inventory of the little thing you do every day, then you would feel that your soul have to be at peace. Otherwise, it's so complicated. It's not easy to just maintain the peace in our soul, especially when you see young people being brutalized and killed. Sometimes it's hard. You just want to scream. But there's a reason why things happen unknown to us. And we just need to be grateful, to be alive and to carry on every day.
Okay, great. So don't forget, everybody, the link to the giving is in the chat. So you can go there and you can do this. If you can't do it while you're online, as soon as this is over with, go right there and please give. All right, so we have a comment and a question from Angelica Jordan. And she says, first, Mrs. Diallo, your aura and healing is incomparable. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Second, I'm doing a doctoral study on the association between the recruitment of Black police and officer-involved shooting reduction. With respect to police reform and the continued momentum of the Black Lives Matter movement, is it up to us as Black Americans to correct policing, or is it bigger than us? And what recommendations, accountability should be in place to hold police officers accountable consistently? Well, that's a mouthful. Hopefully you got it.
Yeah, the mission of the Amadou Diallo Foundation, again, is to advocate for racial equity and promote education for young students of African descent. So the racial equity part, we have started a lecture series that we are doing. This upcoming December 7 is the next one. And the topic is DA immunity. And I invite all the audience right here to log on to our website, amadoudiallo.org. And if you can have time this December 7, from 12 to 1:30 p.m., I welcome you to join us, because we would have a professor from the American University in criminology. We would have a DA. We would have a attorney, a criminal attorney office and retired officer on our board that would address some of the technicalities and questions that you may be interested in. I think coming back to your question, I can say is the combination of both your question. We need to recruit more minority office cops, Black cops. It's up to us to not only be involved, be engaged in the profession, and be involved in signing up for duty. Because if you are in a community and you want to become a lawyer, or you want to become a police officer, you want to become a judge or attorney, it's up to you to see what is your passion. What do you want to do? What would you want to change? Try to be the change you want to see. I think that would, as a mother, that's what I can say. But technically, for those type of questions, I will welcome everyone to join in on December 7. If you can make it, that would be a very good topic to be debated. Thank you.
Great, fantastic. Okay, so I believe when we advertised this was going to be from 12 to 1, but we have actually scheduled this from 12 to 1:30. So those of you who may have to leave at 1 o'clock because of other meetings, don't forget to hit the link and give. Remember, we need to raise $5,000 so that it will be matched up until $5,000. So please give. Those of you who are going to hang on, hopefully Mrs. Diallo can stay on for another half an hour. Is that okay?
Let me tell you this. The Amadou Diallo Foundation have done our part, which is to give and to challenge BCC to raise that money. And I want to be, I am okay to stay if that can help. Yes. And I want to see the success of this program, because I want us to repeat this program, because together we will be, furthering this cause together and helping those students, because we are their cheerleaders. So yeah.
What's so great is that
stand for those time, and at the condition of people will be giving, but also they'll be interacting with us. How about that?
Right. Well, we had about 50 people on the call, so if each one of us give $100, there you go. Okay, so I have a question.
Update, just so that we can let people know, we've already raised over $2,500 so far. So we're halfway there. Nice. Just during this conversation. So I'm confident that before the end of this meeting, and certainly by our deadline, which was 3 o'clock, that we'll meet that goal.
Fantastic. You know, maybe Angela would then invite me to come and host all these type of things. She's like, I want Clifford.
There you go. Hired.
Okay. So we have another question, and it says here, too many individuals are not engaged with formal higher education at community colleges. From the lens of a mother, wise mother, and community leader, what can we do to engage people in seeking higher education beyond the fiscal support and services, particularly at the community college level? And that was from Dr. Lopez.
Well, the community at BCC, will one of your members want to take that question, the president, or because they say mothers? What do you think? Who can take that question?
Okay, so she has opened it up to the floor. Is there anyone who wants to answer Dr. Lopez's question? He says, too many individuals are not engaged with formal higher education at community colleges. From the lens of a mother, wise mother, and community leader, what can we do to engage people in seeking higher education beyond the fiscal support and services, particularly at community college level? And she has opened it up to the floor. I see Dr. Sekenebi is still here. Would you like to answer that question?
I think what we need to do is community outreach. We need to really get out there into the community. I know with COVID-19 it's very difficult. And Eugene, I think, is a prime example of what we can do in outreach to our different communities here. There is nothing, all of us on this forum today won't be here were it not to be for our educational backgrounds. Let's be serious about it. So having said that, which means we all have to go into our respective community, to the Bronx, Eugene, to the mosque, to the churches, to the temples, to let our people know that the only way out, the surest path to social mobility, it's a good education. Even if you become the best basketball player, Clifford, I'm sure you can attest to this. If you don't have a good education, your manager is going to cheat you and you'll be broke in 2 years. Even if you become the best music producer or performer, your manager and the music producer will cheat you out of your money. So there is nothing, absolutely nothing without a good education to really move up. So I hope post-COVID-19, hope we all get the vaccine. Sometimes it's here, folks. We have a new administration coming, so I can trust the vaccine that they're going to vouch for us. I think once we all need to get the vaccine, we all need to find our way to redouble our efforts. We are the only community college with Bronx on its name. We are the only college in the city with Bronx in its name, and Bronx is our community. We need to find ways to go out more into the community there, to tell our story, to tell of the good work that Mrs. Diallo is doing, to tell of the good work all of our other supporters are doing, so that at least we can bring people into the conversation and into the house. I can tell you from my own personal example, I am from Southern Nigeria. As I speak to you today is December the 1st, 2020. The village I'm from, there is no paved road to the place. It's still dusty old road. There is light maybe once every 2 weeks. There is no running water in the place. The only way I got out of the hood, the only way I got out of the neighborhood is good education. Mm-hmm. My late father had the sensibility that the only way you're going to get out, and he told me, you're going to eat and dine with queens and kings, which I've done, and you're going to meet presidents, which I've done only through good education. I think we need to tell that story more to people that look like us, to say the only way out is a good education. Without the grace of God and without a good education, I won't be here. I'll be a farmer in my village today. So that's what I think that's, whoever asked that question, I think that's the only way out we need to go.
And may I add, Clifford, may I add to what the president just said? Education is power. There is nothing you can achieve without education. When my son was gunned down in New York City, remember, I was coming from a different continent. And if I was not blessed to have a father who really insisted all the children be educated, how would I interact with people? I would be there, someone would be translating what I want to say, because just because you don't speak English doesn't mean that you are not educated. But education is key. And one of the things, I was married very young. One of the conditions my father said was to my husband, she needs to go back, she needs to continue her education. And we went the first time we went to Liberia, and this is how I started learning English, because our official language is French in Guinea. And after all the travels, then I continue to read. And in the Bronx, the community in the Bronx, the African community in the Bronx, I think BCC should be a platform where they have to seize that chance. Even if you are already an adult, a young mother struggling, if you come there, I witnessed some of our nieces, one of Amadou's cousin, who was also his neighbor, they live in the same building, Aissatou. She was at BCC, and now I think she translated to Lehman, and she has great support there. BCC have to continue to carry that message to the community so you can attract both young and young adult at the community college and get the education that they deserve, that they need. Yeah.
And I knew Aissatou. She's very good.
Yeah.
Now, I think you, and so once again, don't forget to go to the link. The link is in the chat so you can give. And we're doing very well. I think you may have answered this question a little bit. This is from our colleague, Annie Kim A. Song. And she says, first, thank you, Mrs. Diallo. And her question is, were you conscious of racism in America when you first arrived? And how has your awareness increased or changed over the years?
Excellent question. Before Amadou was gone down, I was not aware about how realities, in America, how racism is, in fact, into everyday people's life. And police brutality was something that I was very much not aware of, except one of the time I was watching CNN and I saw the Abnaluima case. I was feeling so bad. I said, oh, wow, how can this happen to this young man? In depth, I didn't know, because I had visited the US before Amadou, prior to Amadou coming to the US, but I was on a business trip because my background is gemology. So I came at the Tucson, Arizona gem exhibition because I had clients that used to come to the US and go to Bangkok in my office and do business with me. So they invited me in 1993. And I wasn't aware about racism that much. And now my view has changed because I'm more aware of racism because of what happened to Amadou and what happened to many people before him and after Amadou. In school, we learned a little bit about slavery, but to me, we read about it. We are aware about what happened during slavery, but I was thinking it was a distant history. I was thinking that we have overcome, that we have moved past this. So I was awakening for me when Amadou was killed, because Amadou was very young, innocent, and never harmed no one. So I wasn't worried about Amadou. I was confident that Amadou can be here without having any type of struggle, because he was a very decent young man and never caused any problem. So now my perspective while learning through my journey has been more awareness about what's going on. But it doesn't mean that everyone is racist. It means that we need to be aware and call out all those who want to be racist or did something, like prejudice. Prejudice is very bad. Amadou was prejudged just because they saw this young Black man in the vestibule. This is why I embrace the Black cause because my son wasn't killed because he was immigrant or Amadou or no, they don't know who he was. They just saw this Black individual in that vestibule that night. So this cause is our cause, is a common cause.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. And don't forget to give. I see we have Stephanie Kane on this call, and I think she could be calling from Africa right now. Is that right, Stephanie?
Wow. Is Stephanie here?
I seen her name.
Fantastic.
I seen her name. Okay, so we have a question from Giovanna Reed, and she is the CB3 district manager. And her question to you, it's a very good question. If offered, would you serve as an advisor to the Biden-Harris administration?
Giovanna, my friend, I miss you. Thank you so much for being here. Giovanna is a very dear friend, dear sister to me. She and I met in New York, and we went to our own, like a very private, meeting and talking. But it's been a while. I hope that the pandemic, COVID pandemic, will soon be behind us so we can reunite again. I know that I'm a speaker, speaking from my heart and embrace this cause of justice and education. But the one thing I do know that I'm not good at is being politician. I don't do politics. In fact, many people know me just for that, because many people will call me, Mrs. Diallo, we want to invite you. Can you come and endorse me? Can you come and join me in this? I will say, no. I don't do politics. And they'll say, why, Mrs. Diallo? I say, well, when Amadou was killed, all the people came, rallied for Amadou. So I'm not going to pick and choose anyone. I need all of you to be friends with the Amadou Diallo Foundation so we can change lives in a positive way. For the politics, no, I don't want to do it.
Okay, well, listen, it's always good to ask. So Giovanna, keep asking the question, and maybe she'll buckle under the pressure. So I don't have any more questions. I don't know, Tiffany, did anybody send you any questions?
Anything I received, I passed it on to you, Cliff.
Oh, you did? Good.
I do have a comment, just an update for Mrs. Diallo. We won't necessarily see it on the Giving Tuesday page, but one of our donors who heard you speak at the president's event last week, or about a week and a half ago, was inspired by what you had to say, and was inspired about your making a challenge of $5,000. So he himself contacted me to let me know that he would also be providing a $5,000 matching gift challenge inspired by you and your work. So once yours is complete, we will have another $5,000 challenge, again, inspired by the work that you were doing and inspired by your words. So thank you very much again.
Wonderful.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see any more questions. So I guess we're going to close out unless anyone here has a question.
Someone new just came in. I don't know if it is a student or a donor, but I saw somebody.
Who's that? Who's that name? That's one of your students? Is someone you know?
They haven't posted a question. Maybe they could say something in the chat.
Yeah, we can open it. We can open it up. If you have a question that you want to directly ask Mrs. Diallo, we have about 5 more minutes, and then we're just going to wrap it up. So if anyone out there wants to unmute themselves and ask a question directly.
So Cliff, they are asking for information on the December 7th meeting.
Oh yeah.
It can be put in the chat.
Yeah, is Tiffany, can you
put
the AmadouDiallo.org link on the chat so everyone can log in and see the Eventbrite link? They can register.
Okay.
www.amadoudiallo.org. We have it on our website.
I have it. I'll send it.
Okay, good.
Okay, and that's for that December 7th meeting.
Yes.
So anyone out there who may want to unmute themselves and ask a direct question to Mr. Diallo?
Oh, I just saw someone signed in for the event just now.
You just signed in?
Yeah. Well, I think that we did 115, so that's good. And I have a question. Are you planning to rerun this video? Can you share with us so we can keep on sharing? I know some people have pledged to donate also from our side, but they will click in and donate later on, I'm sure. I received their confirmation email, so I won't put them in the spotlight right now.
So Tiffany, I know this is being recorded. Go ahead, Tiffany. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Yes, this recording, the link will be made possible and will be shared with everyone who registered for today's event. We'll also share it with you, Mrs. Diallo, so then you can share it with whoever you'd like to have witnessed and viewed this great event. Yeah.
Yeah, you can dump in my email address, Kadiatou, KADIATOU @amadoudiallo.org. If someone wants to email or be on our mailing list, I see Robert right there, and I thank you, Robert. I know that I've been working so hard to make this a success too, and I forgot to mention Robert's name. I am really honored. This is one of the best thing that I have done so far from this year. I know we have done bridging the gap between Africa and the university, our partner there, and here with government students and BCC, some of them joined. But this is excellent. This is a great thing to do. So I thank you for this initiative. I am humbled and honored to be part of it. I will report back to our foundation board members, and hopefully we will be connected soon again to plan the next event. Thank you so much, President Sekenabe, Angela, the best. Thank you, and Jean Adam and Clifford. Thank you so much, and I thank everyone for their attendance.
So, folks, I think that's the end of our presentation. I just want to say hello to some of the people I haven't seen in a while. I see my man Alon is here. What's up, Alon? You're frozen because you're not even moving back and forth. Good to see you, Alon, and Michelle Davis Faust, who's a great sister. And I want to thank everybody, for coming out. We have our social work intern on the call, Lucian Washington. Good to see you, Lucian. And Esteban is here, and Leroy Gatson, who he never seems to have a camera. What's going on, Leroy? But we love all you guys. Thank you very much. I think we're going to hit our goal. We're going to probably go past our goal. And, we have a treasure.
Angela just said we're at 3,100 right now.
3,100. Got money coming in.
Just an hour. 3,100, so I'm sure we'll hit that goal for sure.
Keep making it happen so that the next time the foundation will give you even more challenge.
I think Jean was telling me I need to do my Lou Rawls. If y'all remember, Lou Rawls used to be the host of the Negro College Fund. So I'm going to sign up by doing my Lou Rawls. You'll never find. So goodbye, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. So much,
everyone.
Bye. I learned a great deal.
Same here.
Thank you.